Not getting sun by the river today?
Things are pretty quiet right now. Running about 10 feet normal for this time of the year. Okay, well, we're going to continue without Cheryl. I'm sure she'll be along. I was just texting her a few minutes ago. I do want her present though when we open the conversation with Mr. and Mrs. Walker. I was intending to push that up the agenda so we could have that discussion and let them go on their merry way this evening. But you are more than welcome to stick through the whole meeting because we have some interesting things to say most of the time. So with that said, Phil, doesn't look like Phil Smythe, our pump station operator, is here yet. So we'll have to bypass him. And at that point,
Dave, just so you know, I just admitted Cheryl to the meeting, so we have her now.
oh, very good.
No, I don't know what was happening to me.
Yeah, I had a problem getting on too, Cheryl.
Yeah, I was looking for you. I mean, Paula sets up these meetings with the waiting room, which I'm not used to on Zoom. I usually don't bother with that, but I was looking for you. I let you in as soon as I saw you.
Oh, thank you. And she also couldn't find the link because she had the wrong time or something. So she sent me a new link and I was going to have to send it out to everyone, but then she said, never mind.
Yep.
It was a little crazy. Okay.
Okay, Cheryl, all we did was approve the minutes of last month's meeting, and then I mentioned that I would like to push the new business number 1 up on the agenda for the benefit of Mr. and Mrs. Walker.
Yes.
So with that said, Mr. and Mrs. Walker, you're welcome to let us know what's going on.
Okay, sure. So I'll just kind of give you a very brief synopsis. On October 17th in 2020, we entered into a real estate agreement to purchase the property with a closing date of January 4th, 2021. The sellers had told us they were granted permission to have sewer and water in the studio, but when they added all the living situation, the borough made them disconnect the sewer and the water. It wasn't until December 16th that we were informed that the decks were not going to reconnect the sewer and water before we had closed. When we had entered into the agreement, we made it contingent upon them reconnecting the sewer, the water, and the HVAC in the studio, in addition to having approval from the borough that would be okay for us to use the studio. In order to purchase the property, we entered into an escrow agreement with the decks. If the borough and the sewer authority approves our request, then the decks will be paying for the water and the sewer and the HVAC to be reconnected. We had not been informed by the sellers that they had illegally rented out the studio. We didn't find that out until after we closed on the property. The decks did remove all of the appliances that were in the studio, which included a refrigerator, a stove, and a washer and dryer. Since we've taken possession of the property, we capped the laundry area, as we're not going to be utilizing that. We just want to make it really clear that if our request is approved, we are not going to be renting out the studio. We will be using it for ourselves as an exercise studio. And just, we appreciate your consideration and whatever questions you guys have.
Well, you pretty much summarized some of the history of the property.
Okay.
You guys probably know it better than we do.
We learn a little bit every time we talk to somebody. So Cheryl was the one that informed me that apparently Ed had claimed to be disabled. I had never heard that. So it's just little trickles of information come to us.
Yeah. I'm going to reserve my comments until I hear from the rest of the boards. it's,
Well, Stephanie, what's his name, Mr. Deck?
yeah,
The previous owner, Elba and Ed Deck.
I recall him coming in and telling us that, no, he would not put an apartment above that garage, and he just wanted a bathroom in the downstairs garage. And then he went ahead and put the apartment in anyway. So the borough notified him to remove that. He came to us and asked permission to keep it connected. I recall we told him, no, it had to be disconnected because we told him that he couldn't, he was not allowed to have a living space above that. So what is your intention to do with that space above the garage?
We intend to use it as an exercise studio. I have a Pilates reformer. My husband cycles. He has bikes and he cycles inside in addition to cycling outside.
If you're familiar with, I don't know if you've ever heard of Zwift, do a lot of Zwifting.
So we just want to be able to use it for exercise equipment. And I know Cheryl had said that it was understood that the bathroom was on the first floor, but everything is upstairs. It's upstairs. It's above the garages. There's 2 garages, and then there's staircase, and it's about 450 square feet. It's just a room and a bathroom and a closet. That's all it is.
which is exactly the opposite location of where Mr. Deck informed us that the facilities would be.
Right, yeah, Cheryl had mentioned that when I spoke to her.
And one of our reasons for considering it was he did plead a hardship with a disability he had, and that hardship to walk back to the house to use the lab facilities in the house, you know, when he has his workshop in the garage, and that was the whole thing. So at that point, we did consider his situation and trying to be the benevolent partner in the community. We figured, okay. We also, I'm not too sure if you're aware of it, but we also had a deed restriction placed on the deed.
Yeah,
And
they did let us know that. That was disclosed to us.
But we weren't intending to live there or rent it out, or
Not an
it
issue for
was
us,
never
because we
an
weren't.
issue, so we didn't. I mean, we consider the space more like an extended basement since we don't have one.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, that's a good way of describing it.
So in other words, you would be more than willing to comply with the terms of the deed restriction.
Oh, yeah, we're not interested in trying to get the deed restriction removed. I mean, it was disclosed to us. We bought the property knowing it was deed restricted. It just wasn't an issue for it. It's still not an issue for us. I mean, we just think of it as an extra room.
Right.
You know, that's all.
I'm not too sure if I need to go into the details of the borough's ordinance as far as the sewers and sewage disposal. Chapter 18-102, where section 4 says
Yeah.
that all buildings on the property will have their own lateral. And then there's also the floodplain ordinance that states that an accessory building shall not be permitted to have any sanitary connections at all. Now, that's a little bit hairy because in that ordinance itself, it states that a accessory building would be of 200 or less square feet. So going under the original pretense that we had with the decks, he was going to use it as a workshop, and that's what we considered it. Now you're telling us that you're looking at it as a extra bedroom to where you're going to have your equipment, exercise room, and you are not planning to have any rented out or have any living quarters other than use of the exercise facility that's there.
Right.
I just wanted to verbalize that to make sure that everybody's hearing you correctly or heard what I heard.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we understand.
Okay.
Could I ask a question here?
Certainly.
Yeah, you did get some approval from the Borough Zoning Board. Is that accurate? Did they approve?
We did, yeah. They gave us approval. You know, they didn't, I guess at the time, I thought it was over. And then the next morning I realized, oh, there's the sewer authority. And so that's when I emailed Cheryl. And I just thought it was going to be, I'd email her and she was going to say, it's fine, you know. I didn't realize it was this whole thing, you know.
Did you get variances from the borough for under that chapter 18 of the code? I mean, do you know what the specific variances were? It was for the 200.
We didn't, I'm sorry to interrupt you. We did not specifically discuss, I have this in front of me, what you're referencing, and we did not discuss it at the hearing. I don't know, we didn't really,
They said they were going to amend it and get back and update us.
Yeah,
But they approved it.
Yeah, they just approved it. It was kind of I don't know, it's just a broad, like, it's
Sure.
fine.
Cheryl, correct me if I'm mistaken, but is it not a fact that the zoning board solicitor is writing up some memo or something to
Yeah,
give an explanation as to what
yeah,
the decision was and why?
right. And the borough doesn't have that yet, but they're expecting to get it, soon. So
Well-
they couldn't give it to us yet.
Just ask one more question. So what you're asking for is basically just to have the bathroom facilities, the connection in the bathroom facilities in this garage. Is that?
Well,
Is that what-
see, is one of the things that, in terms of the zoning board, is the fact that the bathroom is actually above the garage, so it's above the floodplain. So it's on the second level, so it's not the same level as, it's not ground level. So
Right.
it is raised. Now what we're asking is to be able to reconnect the former sewer line into the existing sewer line without having to do a separate lateral.
Yeah, just to a bathroom, just to the bathroom, no other facilities, no other.
Yeah, no,
No, in upstairs, there's a toilet, a shower, and two small vanity sink. Basically, there's two sinks in the entire, there's a sink in the bathroom, and then there's a sink in the main room.
I can't, to be honest with you, the only thing I could imagine us ever using is the restroom. And it would
Well,
probably,
I'd shower over there. I could shower.
yeah, it would be nice, but it's not, we're just gonna like do something over there and come back to our house. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like it's like, how often do you hang out in your space? I don't know, like a room that you know what I mean? Most of our time is in our home.
And
So,
Just, just so I understand, this discussion about the zoning hearing board and that, we're waiting for a written, full-blown letter decision, but they basically said it's okay to keep the room and it's okay to keep the bathroom?
Yeah.
they
As far as I'm
did, yeah.
concerned?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's also, Alex, okay to reconnect to the connection that the decks had going into the house lateral out to Delaware Avenue.
Right, according to them, they're saying that that's all in compliance with their ordinance.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, and there is an HVAC. I don't think that really matters to you guys, but that's.
right.
Only where the condensation line is.
Yeah. Yeah, he did. She would be nice over there.
Rich, you got any questions, or Ryan? Because
I have no questions. My statement was going to be, I don't see any reason for us not to approve their request, but it would be based upon a proper approval from the borough via zoning board and or borough council, wherever it has to come from. We have approved this type of a hookup before. I don't see any reason why we should deny this one.
inclusive in what you said, though, would be maintaining the deed restriction, obviously. Is that
Yes.
correct?
That's
Yeah.
correct.
Okay. What I was going to suggest is that we would like to see the letter that the zoning hearing board solicitor is going to compose. We also have a executive session at the end of this meeting to discuss other issues, but while we are in there, we can bat this around a little further. And again, waiting for that letter. I know you're probably in a hurry to know what's going on, but we're going to take our time and look at the letter and go from
That's
there.
fair.
So I'm not promising you anything, but we will certainly take it under consideration. And unless you have anything further to add, or any of the board members or our professionals have anything to add.
I just
think
had a
that-
quick question.
Yes, Mark.
The decks sort of misled you folks. How about the realtor, the realtors? Did they also mislead you?
No comment.
That sounds like a no comment to
I
me.
mean, we've known our real estate agent for,
I think,
And-
no, I think it was her, their real estate agent, when
yeah.
she denied knowing anything. It was one of
But
those things.
we did it
Yeah.
finally came, our agent knew things that she didn't disclose to us. And by the time we learned of those things, we were closing.
We already
I mean,
sold
it
our
was
house,
just-
we already
I
we had
mean,
a contract on our other house, and
And I don't know if, even if that had happened, you know, a few weeks prior, we still wanted to live here. So I think we would have bought it anyway, but, you know, we definitely felt she withheld information from us that she knew. She knew that the agent that was representing the decks had been involved in renting out that studio, you know, to some person. And then she helped the little lady get another place to live. I mean, it was like, why didn't you tell us?
right.
You know, so
When the agent originally said had no idea what was going on, she didn't know that the decks had rented it out, and then we find out later that she's the one who found the renter and then found the renter the next place to go to.
it's just,
Yeah,
so they
Well,
knew, they both were, I think they just really wanted to get the deal done, like any real estate agent, you know? And so I think that's why she withheld it. She just didn't want us to, you know, I mean, what we knew was enough for us to be very nervous about engaging with them, with the decks. I mean, I don't mean to disparage them personally, but it just was, you know, obviously they lied, and that just made us feel like we were dealing with people we couldn't trust. And it's a big purchase. So, yeah, I mean, we ended up going through with it because we love the house and we just really wanted to live here. So, you know.
Well, I'm sorry to hear you had to go through all that stuff. And,
Okay.
right.
yes, I feel that we were also misled a little bit during our
Yeah.
dealings with the previous owners.
Mhm.
You have a beautiful house there, and now that we understand your side of the story and we've discussed it a little bit, we will discuss it more in the future, and we'll get back to you.
Okay,
Thank
that
you
sounds
very much
great.
for your time.
Thank you all so much.
Are you sure you don't want to stick around and see the rest of us, huh?
We're good.
We'll let you get back to it.
Okay,
All right, thank you. Have a good
Thank
evening.
you.
you
Thank
too,
you.
thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye-bye.
Okay, that was interesting.
Well, it's clear that Stephen and Stephanie know what the decks did. They know what they can't do, which is rent it out to another party, and they know they can use it for them and their family all they want. And I'm willing to give it I'm willing to give it approval.
You know, based on what Rich had said, which makes a lot of sense. I'm at that point too, Carl, but I still would like to see the letter, what the zoning board solicitor has to say on what his reasonings were, because we might have more experience in this as word gets out, because there's a lot of people that have detached garages in this borough that may already be connected for all I know. I don't know, but I think we're wise to, the way that Rich put it, we're wise to consider it. Let's see what the letter says and go from there.
I just have one question. Did Mr. Schumer think that it would be unprofessional to be seen on camera with a cigar during the meeting by the public? Is that,
Obviously not.
well, he had his camera off.
Oh.
Sorry, I was on mute. Yeah, you think?
No hat this time, huh?
No, it's nice out.
Yes,
Okay,
but you don't have the Nanook hat on.
yeah. Okay, if there's no more questions or comments about the 29 North Delaware Avenue, we will continue. At that point, I guess, oh, there's Mr. Smythe right there. I'll ask the question,
We
Richard.
can feel them, but we can't see. Oh, there.
There he is. Good evening. Unmute yourself. There you go.
How's that?
That's perfect.
Okay.
How are you?
Good.
Looking
How's
good.
everyone?
Very good.
Good.
Just in time. You have
Just in
anything
time
to
for
say
what?
about this? Anything to hear about the pump station?
Well, I think the most important news topic is that Rita's is open.
Did that open today?
Yesterday I went by, it was open.
I thought they opened up the first day of spring. I don't know.
I'm not questioning it.
Well, did you bring one for everybody?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So everything is okay at the station. Generator's been running okay. We've been running 2 pumps most of the time for a couple of weeks now. And the flows are up considerably. The infiltration is quite a lot, quite excessive. And I'm sure most of it's from Lower Makefield. So I'm just passing that on. I don't know what our long-term plans are with Lower Makefield as far as enforcing some kind of inflow program over there. Maybe the new owners will be more interested in that.
Well, I grant you, they give us twice as much as what we produce, but I'm sure we have an I&I problem ourselves.
Yeah, I would agree, except I think ours is maybe not a spit in the ocean compared to theirs, but it's quite a lot less than, I mean, just proportionally, their flows are so much more than ours to begin with. But I would say that I think our flows are roughly, I don't know, we got to be between 1.5 and 2 million gallons a day right now. It's really high. And this all happened as soon as the melt off started with the snow and everything. The snow removal people, they did a good job. I don't know who's doing that work, but they've been doing a good job with the snow removal over there. So I just want to give kudos to those guys.
Well, at least that's one place. That's my opinion.
Yeah, the one lane cut on this heavy snow in these back roads. I'm telling you, I'm surprised somebody didn't complain from the fire department, because you'll never get a truck in here that way.
Yeah, well, the other thing, and I'm probably I'm probably like the last guy to the party here with this, but I was coming out Canal Street recently, and I'm that manhole out in that Afton Avenue looks like it's ready to fall through. You guys been keeping an eye or aware of that?
Which one?
Right at the end of Canal, we're on Afton Avenue. That manhole, the manhole lid's got to be, it's sitting way down in there, and clunk. It looks like it's kind of loose when people drive over it. I'm surprised that no one's been complaining about it.
I go past that a lot, especially in my walks with the dog and with the cars going over it. I haven't heard it clang in a long time.
Okay.
I'll take a look at it tomorrow morning when I walk the dog past it.
Okay. Well, maybe all the gravel and stuff tightened it up.
Yeah.
From the cinders. I don't think I have anything else. Everything seems to be okay. I reached out to municipal this week to now that things are, the weather's breaking and all, I want to try and get them out there to look at that wet well for those lights. Since I've not been able to get Bailey out there. They've just been unresponsive. So I don't know whether they're just real busy or what. Municipal's telling me that they are competitive, that they're on co-stars now and stuff. So I'll get a quote from them. And then if I can still get something from someone else, I'll try to do that as well. Is anyone familiar with Thomas Edison Electric over in, I think, Newtown? Someone had suggested them to me, but I don't have any experience with them. Apparently they've been around a while.
Not familiar.
I think that as a no. Okay. Well, I'll see what else I can get. If anyone else has any ideas as far as a commercial electrician that who does municipal work or whatever, it would be the more the merrier.
Who's Lower Buckshoes?
We have our own electrician.
Does he moonlight?
I can't get him to do stuff. He's too busy to do stuff that I have a list like 3 years old over there for him of stuff. All we do is prioritize things.
I thought I'd try.
It's an issue. Trying to get people right now to do anything is like pulling teeth.
Yeah.
And the ones that are good are busy. And then the other ones that are just mediocre, they just don't want to work.
I think you're going to find Thomas Jefferson is a subsidy of Ben Franklin Plumbing.
Thomas Edison,
rather, is a subsidy of Ben Franklin Plumbing.
really?
Yeah, they were sharing. They were sharing a billboard down in Atlantic City. I noticed the other day.
I'll have to check on that because I know somebody over there. I'll ask them because they have. I know the local Ben Franklin. They've got AM, PM. I guess HVAC.
Yeah,
I think it's AM, PM, and something else too. So maybe this is just another thing another arm that they have that I was unaware of.
Horizon expanding.
Okay. Yeah, thanks for that tip. I'll check into that. I don't really have anything else. The VFDs have been okay. We did really well with the power not going out. Touch wood. I don't know if Pico's done some improvements over there or what, but we went through some hairy windstorms, and it was a nail biter for me because I had a generator that was at the time was not going to run by itself, and we didn't lose power, thank God. So there's something's different over there. I don't know what's been done, but I feel like they did something to improve the electric.
I haven't seen anybody working along River Road, but what do I know?
I know they're replacing a lot of poles and wires in my area. So I don't know if that's if they're all starting to gear up now for the new electric vehicle revolution or what. But that's all I have. If anyone has any questions, I'll try to answer them.
Any questions for Phil?
I just looked up that Thomas Edison. They do commercial lighting and stuff, so maybe they're worth a try.
All right, I'll check it out.
Okay, then.
Thank you,
Phil.
everyone.
Thank you, Phil.
Do you want me to hang?
If you want to. I mean, we previously discussed before you came on the situation with the decks. I'll tell you about that later on.
I did catch some of that. I was watching.
Yeah.
And I'm familiar with that issue from the previous owner and all.
Yep, yep. They're requesting the same thing, but, you know, we're waiting to get a letter from the zoning board solicitor, who's going
Yeah.
to explain why his decision the way it was, and they want to do the same things the Dex did, but they don't want to live there, and they're okay with the deed restriction, so we told them.
I guess that doesn't really involve an additional EDU, you know, if you base it on what they're proposing.
Never thought about that. And should it have its own lateral? Didn't think about that
Well,
either.
But if it's the same family and they're just using a bathroom because it's a workout room, you know, it's like an extra bathroom, really.
And that's what they're considering it, just an extra room.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yep. Yeah. No, it's, you just have to, hey, you guys caught it before, so you just have to somebody has to keep an eye on the place. That's all.
Yep.
Because you know how it is. Like we run into this all the time. People promise the moon when they want something, and after they get it,
Yep.
next thing you know,
Yep.
there's something else going on there.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Pump Station Committee, do you have anything to add? Rich and Carl?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Okay. With that, we will move to the financial reports with Cheryl. You're on.
Okay. Nothing unusual with the financial reports. The bill list was pretty light, so I was gonna do on the agenda, I was gonna do a requisition, but I don't think we need it till next month, so we don't need to do that.
Scratch off number 2 on new business.
Yeah. It's hard to predict, you know. But last month, the bill list was higher because we paid off a few of the easements, so.
Yep.
But this month was smaller. So nothing unusual there. Delinquent list. We're expecting the water company to start doing shutoffs next month. So we can get after some of these people, but actually a lot of people paid this week that we're getting up there. So delinquent list still looks pretty good, surprisingly. And that's about it. We can approve the bill list if you would like.
I'll take a motion to approve the bill list, current bill list for $12,835.48.
Moved.
Second.
Motion's been made and properly seconded. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Okay.
I just had one question about the operating cash.
Yep.
It really went down quite a bit from last month, like 60%.
Was
The
that the easements, Cheryl?
bill list, you mean? You mean the bill list total?
No, the balance sheet
Oh,
from
balance.
previous month comparison.
Oh, okay.
Does the monies for the easements come out of that?
Yes.
Unfortunately, I don't have that in front of me, Mark.
Yeah, the operating account, you know, some months the bills are, you know, sometimes we have to pay a quarterly payment to Marsville, which is like 45 or 50,000. So if that's in there, that'll boost it up for a month. So it swings wildly up and down.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Keep that eagle eye on there though, Mark. You're doing good.
Curious.
Okay. Cheryl, if that's all, is that all you have, Cheryl?
Yeah, that's all for the financials. If you want me to do my administrator report. I can
Sure.
do it. Okay, so nothing unusual there except under pump station. I say provided Morrisville with February's flows. I did not. That's a lie. Because there's something wrong with the recorder at the pump station. So I don't know what we call that. I don't know if that's part of the SCADA system, but I'm still seeing the SCADA pump information on the computer in the office. That's still fine, showing the flows and everything. But the actual recorder, it was put in like by ABB. Anyway, it's not sending the flows to the office. So it just stopped in mid-February. So I got a hold of Applied Analytics, and he's ordering us some new software, and then he's going to come and install it, and hopefully that's going to fix it. And he seems to think, I was kind of worried because I thought we lost most of February's numbers, but he seems to think that it's still recording at the pump station. It's just not sending it to the office. So
Brian,
hopefully when he gets the software in there, he said we should be able to capture the flows off of that recorder.
Recorder, not working.
what's that, Rich?
Go ahead, no, never mind.
Brian, is there anything you can add to this as far as an explanation or where to go with it?
I don't think so. I was going to ask Cheryl, but she just said that it seems to be an issue where it's just not, that it's recording but it isn't transmitting the data to the office.
Yeah, it's Applied, the company that I'm dealing with is Applied Analytics. They're the ones that actually put it in, and it's the same technician too. So he's very familiar with it. And
When are they scheduled to perform their work?
they're going to send it to the office in a CD, and then as soon as we get that, probably this week or early next week, it should get to our office, and then he'll come put it in. And he said we needed the new software anyway because the old software doesn't work with Windows 10 anymore. So so we had to get it anyway. But he seems to think that's going to solve the problem, so I hope so. And he seems to think that we will at that time be able to get February's numbers off of the recorder because it's just not transmitting it. So
I just wanted to clarify that, have you verify that it is recording the flows, but it's just not sending it to you.
not sending it to the
Okay.
office.
I don't
That's
want to
what
get
he-
into the position where we're without flows again.
Right. I know. That's what I was worried about. But
Okay.
so by next week, it should be resolved, I think.
All right. Raise the flag though if it's not.
Okay. And that's about all I have.
Okay. Carol, you got anything to add before we?
Well, I do. And are we doing executive session tonight?
Yes, we will. We will do an executive session. And then towards the end, when we're just finished discussing with Blake about the easements, I will request that you and Cheryl excuse yourselves because we will be talking about personnel, if that's okay.
Okay. So in executive, I only wanted to bring up a letter we received in from the Garlett's attorney.
Okay, that's fine. We'll do that then. Okay. Cheryl, if you're completed, then we'll move on to
Yes.
Brian.
Okay.
Anything new with Morrisville?
I have nothing new to report. Cheryl, I don't recall. Were you going to reach out to John Verenda
I know,
to see if there's?
I'm supposed to do that, but I just was not clear what I'm supposed to be asking him. Am I just asking him what's happening?
Yeah, I guess, I mean, to me, just an update on anything. I think it's been over a year now. I think it was December of 2019. I guess we, basically gave them the on-board letter with conditions to them. And since then, I don't think we've heard anything
No.
Yeah, if you do get a hold of them, tell them that, we're still waiting for our Christmas card from last year and our New Year's greeting, and are wondering, last year was a tough year with the virus and everything. We just hope he's okay.
Okay, yeah,
Dave, I
because
think it's too
I
soon
just,
to joke about that.
What's that?
I think it's too soon to joke about that.
yeah, right.
Yeah, I think you're right. I apologize.
So
Yeah, and I don't think we have, and I don't think he's given us our reconciliation. No, he has, we still need a reconciliation for 2019.
There's your objective of
So
calling
I
him.
can ask him that too, yeah.
Yep.
And I know,
Okay.
I know Lower Makefield is still trying to get reconciliations from him also, because he copies me on the emails and. Yeah.
Okay, then.
he must
So
be
Brian,
working
you've
with-
got no update really on Morrisville.
no, as far as the sewer project, nothing really to update other than the easements, which we'll discuss later.
We'll
with
discuss those
Blake.
later.
We are working on the Chapter 94 report, which is due end of this month.
Yep.
And we are in the process of getting the RFP together for the Breeze Drive cleanouts.
Yep.
Just need to do it. We want to do a field verification now that the snow melt's gone, with markouts and take a look at, visuals on, for some of the cleanouts. So before we identify all the cleanouts to be done. So we'll be doing that in the next couple of weeks and getting that out on the street.
All right.
So those are the main tasks.
Excuse me, what is a Chapter 94 report?
That is it's an annual report to DEP. It's the waste load management report. So basically we report with our flows from the pump state that we receive at the pump station, which, collected from both Yardley Borough and Lower Makefield. And then that report also gets combined, goes into Morrisville. They use it because the sewage is treated at the Morrisville plant. So our reports, stands alone for us, and then it's also incorporated into Morrisville's annual report.
Thank you.
I think it'd be a good idea, Mark, that you obtain a copy of the last year's Chapter 94 from Cheryl. It makes wonderful reading at night. And it would give you a good understanding.
You know what? He already asked me for the transportation agreement and
Oh,
a
boy.
bunch of other really interesting things. He's been doing a lot of fun reading. Yep.
I read about half the transportation agreement and fell asleep, but
He's big surprise there.
on the in perpetuity, that's all I can recall.
Let me tell you, it took till perpetuity to get that thing signed. I think we were working on that for over, 12 years or so? Anyway,
Ironically, Mark, you having now read it, you or even half of it, you know more about it than I do because it's been long enough now that I forget most of it.
oh, yeah. I wouldn't put money on that one.
I want to forget.
No, I'm just glad we have it. Okay, with that said, Blake, you're up unless you want to hold everything off till later on.
Well, I think pretty much everything I have to talk about should be an executive session.
Okay.
So
Yep.
I want to hold off till later or whatever your pleasure is.
Does anyone have any questions or comments for Blake? Okay. With that said, Carl, do you have anything for the board?
I do not.
Rich,
Nope.
Michael,
Good.
Mr. McKay?
Actually, are we gonna give Mark a position?
Oh, that's a good point. I forgot all about that. Oh, where is it?
Mr. McDevitt?
I forgot who's who.
We have
I'm the chair.
chairman, Carl's vice
Carl is the
chair,
vice chair.
Rich is secretary, and assistant treasurer, and Mike is treasurer.
Grumpy, sleepy, Doc.
What's that leave assistant secretary?
Well, we can do that, or we can stay status quo and let Mike McDevitt get his feet a little bit wetter. Carl, you brought it up, so I'm going to ask you. Everything's filled except that Mike Schumer is sharing the assistant, the treasurer, and the assistant secretary. Is that correct?
Yes,
Okay.
which is helpful because that's a check signer. So sometimes if someone's away,
Right.
we need another check signer.
I'm just going to make this suggestion. We don't have to do anything, or we can do something. I just think maybe we give Mark McDevitt a little bit of time to expose to us his expertise, whether it's in dollars and financials, or whether it's in recording as in secretary.
All right, I'll let you know. I'll think up a title.
That's even better. I like your style. That's pretty good. El Presidente. Huh?
Si, senor.
Yeah. Let's see. Mark, do you have anything for us?
No, I don't. I'd still like to take a look at the pump house one of these days.
Well,
Well,
I'll get the key off Cheryl and we can go down there and do a cursory look around. It's better to do it with Phil because he can open up the wet well and show us, where all the what comes in, and then we can go down and look at the,
hey,
other
Phil,
stuff.
you given any tours lately?
Yeah, actually, it's been in the back of my mind to, Carl had asked me about this before. Getting the new board member over there to give him a tour of the pump station. I was kind of holding off, hoping to get the wet well lights replaced.
Yeah.
Because you really can't, you don't want to go down. I don't want to take anybody down there in the dark, and they're not going to want to go down there in the dark anyway.
Not even with a flashlight?
It's,
I wasn't
when you
gonna go in there. I was just gonna look in there.
well, when you see it, you'll understand. Flashlight won't do it justice. It's a scary place without lights. But we don't have to wait for that. So I mean, if we go during the day, we can open up the hatches and we'll get some sunlight in there. So that might be just a good workaround. So yeah, let me know when you guys are available, and we'll try and set up a time. I'll give you the grand tour.
All right, next time you got a weekend visit, let us know.
Okay, or just let me know when you guys are generally available, and I can probably accommodate that too.
Yeah. I'm generally available, so just give me a buzz.
Okay.
The only thing I have for the rest of the board is that I did have a plaque for Tom Cadwalader made up, and it's ready to be presented to him. I have not yet been able to get a hold of him. But what I would like to do, with the board's permission, is to contact him and invite him to next month's meeting, which I believe is April 14th or something. And I will see if I can arrange to deliver it to him beforehand, and then just have him come on and we can all congratulate him on his retirement from the sewer authority and wish him well and hope he enjoys his plaque. Other than that, that's all I have. Anybody else got anything else for the rest of the board? With that said, Brian, when you signed off, that was for the sewer improvements too, right? Old business?
Yes, I was finished.
Alex, do you have any?
Until-
I'm sorry, go ahead, Brian.
No, I said I was finished other than the easements in the
Right.
executive session.
That's what I thought. I just didn't check it off. Alex, you got anything?
No, again, nothing that we haven't talked about or won't talk about in session.
Very good. So under new business, number 2 has been rescinded. We've already talked about number 1 with the walkers. What I would like to do now is go into executive session for the purpose of discussing real estate. Blake will probably lead. And then after we're done discussing the real estate, I will excuse all except for the remaining board members. And I just want to say a few things about the consideration of merit increases for this year. Okay, Alex, if you will, we're going into executive session now.
Okay, I'm pausing the recording.
Back in at 8:11 or so. And if there's no further discussions that anybody wants,
Move we adjourn.
Second it.
motion's been made, properly seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Unanimous.
I don't think I
Gentlemen,
would.
thank you very much. Alex, thank you again for hosting us. Fine job as always.
Pleasure. Thank you.
We will
Thank
talk
you.
again. We will talk again next month, if not sooner. We
you.
adjourned as of 8:12. Thank you very much. Good night.
Thanks. See
See you
y'all.
guys.
Aye.
See ya.